Welcome to the Real Change Podcast, brought to you by the Boys and Girls Clubs, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Edmonton and area, otherwise known as BGCBigs. I'm your host, Harper. BGCBigs is a community-supported organization committed to the healthy development of young people just like me. This is the Real Change Podcast. Real kids, real mentors, real impact, real change. Welcome back to the Real Change Podcast, friends. I'm your host, Harper. I'm excited to share that for the first time ever on the podcast, we have both a mentor and a mentee. Their names are Chapman and Caden Auger. Al and Caden are part of the Mentoring Youth and Adults from Care program, and today we'll learn all about it. Welcome to the Real Change Podcast, Al and Caden. I'm so excited to chat with you today. First of all, we need to learn what the program is. Al, can you fill us in?
Sure. Happy to. And thank you for sitting down with us today.
Thank you.
Looking forward to this opportunity. So the MyAct program has been set up working with government in the Transition to Adulthood program, providing a mentoring opportunity for youth and young adults ages 16 to 24. So along with some of the other things when they're transitioning out of care, it's been identified that mentoring is a good option for young adults to have in their life.
So, MyAct is different from all the other mentoring programs because it matches mentors to young adults ages 16 to 24 years old. All the other programs we've learned about so far matched mentors with kids. So, Caden, when you first decided you wanted a mentor, what kind of things were you hoping a mentor could help you with?
Honestly, for me, I never really expected any mentorship, but because for the past few months before I met Elle, I've been having a lot of mentorships for almost half my life. But when I first met Elle, honestly, it was a huge game changer because he's more different than many of the people that I met throughout my lifetime, and he's just very wise. He's very compassionate about some of the things we do, and we're always just curious about each other's lives, just asking like, how are you been, or just day to day, honestly.
So there wasn't any specific traits you were hoping for? You weren't hoping for them to be like extremely funny, extremely wise, or just mentorship in general?
For me, mostly, I've met a lot of people. So whenever I meet every new people, whenever I come across, I just kind of just wait and listen. And whenever it's something that we both agree on, like a certain topic or something, it's just, it just happens to me, like we kind of sort of click right away. Depends on the situation or what we're talking about. So I don't really expect much from people, and I don't really expect for people to expect much from me either.
Makes sense. Personally, I kind of have a relationship with what you said. Like, you just wait and listen. Instead of I wait and listen, I do, but then I learn to soak in with it. Like, understand their point of view before I can get a hold of my point of view. So
exactly.
Gotta listen to people first. When people mentor younger kids, they usually tell me about helping their mentee with things like schoolwork, projects, crafts, activities together. It sounds like being a mentor to young adults still includes a lot of fun things, but also help with more grown-up stuff. Al, what made you want to become a mentor for young adults like Caden?
So I was a teacher for a long time before I kind of worked in government for a number of years and now do other contract work. And I always found I liked that connection in my life with somebody that's younger, has a different point of view, is looking at life a little bit differently. And I'd been kind of missing that over a number of years. I'd done some corporate mentoring, so where we had a classroom of kids come, but I'd never done a one-on-one match before. And when this program came along and I had some conversations with some youth from the Office of the Child and Youth Advocate, their youth council, and we were having a meeting talking about what would you like to see in mentoring going through this stage of life. And when I heard all of the characteristics and the things they were looking for, I went to my colleague afterwards. I said, I really want to be a mentor in this program because they talked about so many things that were missing in their life that they didn't get when they were growing up. And I was touched by what I heard. And so I contacted BGCBigs right away and said, I know you had this new program. I'd like to be a mentor in this program. So then I went through the process. There was a little bit of a waiting because they didn't have any matches yet. And then Caden came along and we had our first meeting and it just kind of rolled from there. So.
Like you mentioned, you guys just went with the flow.
Yeah, pretty much when we first met each other. Actually, when I first met him, I was kind of a little nervous because I never really, again, like I said, I never expected much. But when I first met him, I was kind of a little bit shocked and a little bit shy at the same time. But after we kind of talked to each other, got to know each other a bit more, for a split second, we immediately connected. And after that, I just felt really positive of what I was getting into.
Bet you it's a lot easier as well working with a young adult compared to a little kid. I would understand because I have a little brother who's 5. And when I babysit him, second my parents or whoever's coming home comes home, I scream and run downstairs and go back to my bedroom. And I'm like, it's finally over because he screams and yells and he's like, I want this. Wait, no, I don't want that. I want this. So it's definitely a lot easier to work with somebody older than it is younger. I'm not saying children are bad, actually.
Well, I can say, Caden, I've never run home crying and screaming and wanting to go. No. So I haven't experienced what Harper's experienced when my time with you. No.
That's good.
Yeah.
To hear.
It's like meeting new friends, especially when they're the same age as you. Then it's a lot easier. But moving on.
So are you thinking we're close to the same age? Is that what you were talking about?
Perhaps. Wait.
I'm very flattered if you're saying that. That's great.
How long have you guys been matched?
Only for like about a year, almost 2.
A year and 4 months, but who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting?
Yeah, just over a year.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a
If
long
you think
time.
a little bit older, just letting you know, I'm 20 years old.
Oh.
No offense.
And I'm over 50, so there's a big age gap. But when we're together, honestly, you wouldn't know it sometimes. We just kind of meet in the middle somewhere.
Actually was not expecting that. I thought you were younger, and I was assuming you were 19 to 22.
No
So-
offense.
I'm still a little shocked about that. Anyways, it's really cool that you guys have been matched for that long of time. That's actually a lot of time. Have
Gone
you?
by pretty quickly, hasn't it?
It has to. Me and him we had this conversation a while ago that time does feel like it's going a bit faster than usual.
Has your birthdays been have you celebrated your birthdays together?
Yeah, we have actually. We were just talking about earlier before the podcast started that he took me to was it a Japanese cuisine restaurant and got to try some of my first sushi. Honestly, still need to get used to it because it's a little too fresh for me.
At 20, your first time ever having sushi?
Yeah, never had sushi. Never.
It's not okay.
It is
That's not okay.
I know.
Anytime I get the chance to eat sushi, doesn't matter when it is, every time, Mom, can we have sushi for dinner? Too good, but I understand. It's a lot of taste, okay?
And it is a little bit expensive.
That's why my mom normally says no.
Understandable.
Unfortunately, I'm going to ask for that for dinner. Al, what are some new things Caden has taught you?
He helps me with my music. So, we both like music, but he's able to introduce me to some artists that I don't know. So, and then vice versa. But his musical tastes go really deep into oldies, right up to newer artists. So sometimes with the newer artists, Caden can kind of help me out with what's kind of new and fresh.
I can understand that.
And for me, whenever me and him go, he takes me to like new restaurants or like like antique stores that I never been to. I really enjoy going to antique stores now to like find some like nice pottery or furniture, stuff like that. And honestly, and whenever again we talk about music, he introduced me new stuff. Like me and him both have record players, and he has like the Sony Walkman, was it?
Oh, I have an old vintage Sony Walkman.
Yeah, Sony Walkman. I always wanted to get one of those one day. I'm into like one of the older retro stuff.
Never heard of it.
Very
Is it
old.
like a
It's
record
like
player or something?
Oh yes, it's like a record player and a phone, but way different.
Is it like pocket sized?
Pocket sized I have the cassette tape one and I have a Discman that came later on, but the original one was it was a sport one that had tape and radio on it.
My friend is really into that stuff. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a mini circular shaped one, and you put these little things on top of it and you shut it in and you choose the station and you can connect it to headphones, and it's really cool. But
Probably the Discman because you put the discs in and let them spin around. Yeah.
that's cool though. I like that. Caden, what are some things that Alice taught you?
For me, he's taught me just for the most part, ever since I first met him, we mostly talked about like just like because I was kind of struggling with like what to do for like everyday stuff and whatever, and he just pretty much we talked about, and he's taught me just pretty much choose what your heart and what your mind desires for. Pretty much like figuring out, just going out there, not think about it too much. Just whenever your heart sits on, do it. Don't think about it, just do it. And honestly, I've been mostly coming out of my shell too, because I never liked going outside as much. But ever since I met El, he's been teaching me about just going out, seeing new things, trying new things like restaurants or going to the museum, which I like doing, or just going to the Mutard Gardens, which I also like doing as well.
Our school took us to the Mutard Garden once.
Oh, that's my favorite spot.
So nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a little bit humid though. Humid.
Oh, yeah, believe me.
It reminds me of a garden from Ontario. Wait, was it a garden? Yeah, it was a garden. It was like a garden, and there's a bunch of butterflies and a bunch of flowers, and there's like little waterfalls, and it's really, really, really hot. Really hot.
I remember when Al took me to the Mutard Garden for the first time in my life, and when we got to, I think it was the tropical one, the tropical area, and when I first went into there, honestly, that's one of the most favorite gardens of all time. And as we were like walking around, I was kind of like messing around with some of the plants, acting like I was one of those people you see on TV, like Savari guys or whatever. Just having good laughs. And honestly, yeah, I really do enjoy going to the Mutard Gardens, whether it's just taking pictures or I like to read. I'm getting back into reading.
I'm not.
It's not for everyone.
Nope. I have a whole bookshelf. I've probably read like 4 out of the billion and trillion books in there. So, good for you.
Thank you.
I'd love to learn more about all the time you spent together, the first time you met, all stuff like that. Can you tell us about that day when your first impressions were?
Honestly, when I first seen Al, again, I always thought when I first seen him, in my mind, I thought he was like gonna be one of those people that, cause I kind of like, I don't know if it's like very cruel, but whenever I see a person dress a certain way, I kind of figure it out in my head quickly, and then like, okay. But when he spoke, I immediately changed my mind, my whole perspective about him, and then when we got into our conversations, I started making a little joke, making him laugh, and then just kind of talking about life and stuff. And honestly, my first impression of Al, honestly, pretty amazing. Nothing too exciting, but pretty amazing for me anyway.
Thanks, Caden.
Very kind. What about you, Al?
I just found Caden was really funny from the first moment we sat down in our meeting room with some other folks there with us. But we really kind of clicked right away, and his sense of humor was the first thing that stood out for me. And then he seemed very caring and listened. He was a really good listener. I could see the way he was just kind of watching people around the room. He's very perceptive. And then that's kind of continued on in our relationship. We both really spent time listening to each other, or when we first get in the car, we say hi, but we really kind of just see where we are that day. Because like everybody, like, you're not on every day. You don't have all your energy every day. And we know that for each other. And then we kind of are there for each other. If I'm having kind of a down day, Caden will kind of cheer me up, or vice versa. So we're good at reading each other and kind of where we are on the day when we get together. That first day, it just kind of started at that moment too.
I feel like that's really important for any relationship, to be honest. Like, I'll call it a regrouping session, I guess, where you kind of just need to. It's important. Sometimes we don't always have good days. I don't even have all good days. My leg hurts, just not very nice. And that kind of links me to my next question. Al, I read in your backstory that you're known to sometimes break out into dance when there's a good song in the grocery store. Can you show us one of your go-to dance moves?
I don't know if I have a go-to dance move, but I definitely like to move. I think I'm a real lower body dancer. I don't have a lot of upper body moves. I'm kind of like, it's more the hips and the legs kind of move more than anything else.
And trust me, this one time when we went to Simon's, this was like last Sunday, we're going down the escalator, and immediately out of nowhere, I see Al dancing. I was just like, I saw him, but then I was looking at some clothes, like, oh, what's that? But then Al came to me. He's like, were you embarrassed by my dance? I was like, no, I genuinely was like looking at some other stuff.
Because he literally deked away just as soon as I started dancing. So I thought he was like trying to disassociate himself with me, but really he was just saw something shiny, and it was hats. Caden likes hats, as you can tell. Caden's a hat guy. So he saw some hats that he was running to go look at, and I was dancing down towards the escalator. So.
That's pretty funny. That something actually happened like that in my gym class today. Our teacher started playing some really upbeat music. So we were playing this like 4-way volleyball, and you would hit the ball over the net, and there's 2 of them. And I had this person in my group, and they played a song from like 2018, and he started just dancing in a circle and everything. It was really funny, and then the ball hit him in the head, which was not really funny, but kind of funny.
Sorry, I snickered.
I did too. I actually laughed a lot.
It's kind of funny when you see people have a little kind of get, I wouldn't necessarily say funny about people getting hurt, but you know, if people like say stub their toe or like accidentally bang their head, you kind of need to have a little chuckle.
You kind of have to.
Mm-mm.
That happened how I hurt my leg. I laughed a lot. A lot. And then the next day it started hurting, and then I didn't laugh at all. Caden, do you like to dance? Like, do you have any go-to moves?
Honestly, I'm not very much of a dancer, but if I were to dance, it would probably be in my own time, whether I'm cleaning or actually just hanging out with my sister with her friends at her place, just dancing while we're cleaning as well. But honestly, I don't have very particular dance moves. I have anything, honestly. I don't really dance. Believe me, my parents, my dad, he was a major electric guitar player and a drummer. So whenever he started playing music, the house would just be like, you literally can't hear anything. Your ears would just be ringing all the time. And my mom, she was like, I'm kind of like my mom, more open-minded with music. So sometimes she would play, I can remember one time she was like playing loud 90s like house music. I can't remember the beat was, but you know, like your typical like 90s house music vibe. So honestly, music for me, it's like depends on what taste and what you like. On the first thing it comes to your ear.
I guess so. We know that BGCBigs tries to match mentors and mentees based on similar hobbies, similarities, or preferences. What kind of things do you guys have in common?
Well, I like fashion. I really do. So whenever
I can tell
I
you
meet
got
up,
a lot of style.
thank you. So whenever meet, most of this is thrifted too, by the way. I'm a major thrifter. So whenever I see him, we have lunch and I ask him, or he asks me, what do we want to do? And I immediately tell him, let's go thrifting. So we either go to Goodwill or Value Village, whether it's on South Side or North Side, but I really like South Side because it's more better.
It's better.
And sometimes Al, he tries to get me into more casual stuff, and I really try to actually. I'm kind of trying to get into more casual trend, so dressing more casually like he does. And sometimes I try to influence him with my fashion, whether it's like a snazzy, like crazy looking polo shirt for like summertime. I'll try and influence him, and I actually did one time. He actually got it. We went to Forever 21, but I don't go there anymore. And he actually got this really nice polo shirt, and it was a really good price. So influenced him.
So he is my fashion advisor. Yeah.
I had this phase, like, beginning of this year, middle of last year, and it was pink and all the pastel colors, and it was like skirts, a lot of pink, actually, just a lot of pink. I'm not really sure what the style was called, but I wore it every single day. I still have some of the things from then, but I don't wear it as much anymore. But I still have some of it, like mini denim skirts, poofy skirts, all the stuff like that. And it was really funny, but really awkward because nobody really dresses like fancy anymore, unfortunately. So
I tried to. I actually have a lot of like suits and a lot of like dress vests and all that. So whenever like say me and Al are going to like a nice restaurant together, I try to like put on like a very nice but nothing too crazy like look. I try to, because I don't want to be. I'm not like one of those people that like to be seen all the time. I like to like maintain my privacy. So yeah, like say.
that's what I mean by like awkward, because you don't want to be the one stands out the most in the crowd, but you do. Because my dad always tells me I don't have to fit in with the crowd. So when I stopped wearing that, I started fitting in more, but I was like, I don't belong here. I don't feel good here, because I was so used to wearing stuff like that. So I get what you mean by you don't want to be the center of attention, but you don't want to be with the rest of the crowd.
Exactly. That is perfect.
Perfect explanation. Pew. I do that a little too much.
Believe me, we all gotta do something with our hands.
Okay, that's my new thing. Yay! Caden, now that Al has been matched with you for a while, what would you say has changed in your life?
That's that's a very huge question,
It's a deep.
and I wouldn't mind answering it, but I'll try and answer this as best I can. For now, I'm not really expecting much for me because I'm only still 20 years old, even though people always say 20, you're supposed to like being out there and whatnot. But for me as a 20-year-old, I just don't really expect much for me. And sometimes like say if I accomplish a huge thing, I really don't celebrate it too much. I'm just like, all right, I done something. Let's move on. Like I don't really expect too much from anything or anyone for me because again, I just like to take it day by day and kind of just, for me, I kind of believe in fate. So I believe in fate, and I don't want to look too much forward, and I just want to maintain right now and still continue that cycle.
That reminds me of something when I accomplish something, I'm not like, yahoo, yippee, before I know what's coming next.
Mhm.
Like, there could be another harder test that I maybe don't do so good on, so I don't celebrate until it's all done.
Exactly.
What about you, Al?
I just think patience has really come. My patience is growing. Like just hanging out with Caden and watching the way he takes in the world. As you said, you just take it one day at a time. And so I kind of have learned from that sometimes you can't control what's going on. Sometimes you can. Just kind of go with it, but take it one day at a time. And so, yeah, that part of our relationship has really kind of helped ground me and made me realize that, you know what, take it one day at a time. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy the people that you're around, and celebrate. Yeah, celebrate when
You feel
can,
like it.
When you feel
Yeah.
like it. Thank you. Yeah.
Or even if it's the little things.
Like sushi.
Sushi?
That too. Exactly.
Poutine?
Oh, yes.
You're a poutine guy?
Poutine's
Mhm.
a very big thing for me.
Oh, I'm a
Very
I'm a
big
poutine
thing.
person as well. Like every single time, once in a while, if I had the chance, I'll ask him can we get poutine? And we go to like different places. And I've been to most of them already. And
Me too.
I have 3 major places. And it's one, which is used to be called the Flea Market, but it's just now called Queens Mary Market, if you ever heard of that place. They sell a really good poutine for $6. One of my top favorites.
He even knows the
And-
price.
And second one, Woodshed Burgers, which is also my favorite. 9.8. I forget. I kind of rate them, but in my own way. I don't like put it out online and whatever. And the third one would be Peter's Drive-In.
Okay, it wouldn't be the Real Change podcast if we didn't play a game. And our game today is going to be this or that.
Okay.
It's like pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to give you a choice between this or that, and you just have to answer.
All right.
And we're going to see how many you have in common. And I guess we'll see. Make sense?
Yep.
Good. All right, question 1. Go kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding?
I rather prefer kayaking.
Kayaking.
1. All right. This one's going to be pretty easy, especially for you. Ready? Thrifting or popping fresh tags? Very simple.
Honestly, thrifting.
I'm down with thrifting too. Yeah, good choice.
That's number 2. Question 3. Gaming on a PC or gaming on a console?
Gaming on a console.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I have to say console as well. I'm not a big gamer, but I prefer console. Yeah.
Me too. It's easier, okay? It's just easier. Question 4. Text messages or calls only?
I'm not very much a call person. I rather prefer. I'm more of a texting, so texting for me.
I do like talking to people, but you and I we text. We're texters together. Yeah.
My texting takes way too long, so I choose neither, and instead I click that button where you audio record it, and then you send it, and then like it types it out for you. So that's my favorite way of doing it, because sometimes I don't want to call you. All right.
That's fair.
5. The Rock or Jason Statham?
Ooh.
No clue how to pronounce the last name.
I'm gonna have to go with Jason. He's my favorite actor. I loved all his movies.
The Rock.
Big Switch, John Cena.
Not bad. Not bad.
Actually, my dad. That's who, my dad. All right, question 6. Deep fried memes or vintage memes? I don't know what a deep fried meme is.
Honestly, I know memes, but I don't know what those things are. But I'll go with vintage.
To be honest, when I first thought about deep fried memes, I thought they actually meant deep fried memes. Like, because then I got really hungry because I was thinking of, like, dough, and you deep fry the dough, and then you get a syringe and you stick the ice cream inside, and then you eat it because that tastes good.
That sounds good.
Sounds like the things that you go to the Midway for in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Pretty
Sounds
much.
like would be part of that.
It's like mini donuts, but better. All right, question 7. YouTube or TikTok?
I can't complain, but I'm more of a YouTube person.
One of the goals of the Real Change podcast is to inspire more people to become mentors. In this episode specifically, we want to inspire more people to become MIAC volunteers. So my next question is for Al. What would you say to someone who is on the fence about becoming a mentor for a young adult?
All of us have something to give. All of us have a quality that we want to share with somebody. Or, in our case, we have interests that we want to share. We both love music, or we like fashion, and find that you want something that you want to share with somebody, and BGCBigs will find a match that they'll connect to. So they'll find that right match for you. So don't be afraid that you're going to be. It's not like dating where you're going to go through a lot of work trying to find that perfect mate. You get a lot of help from BGCBigs helping make that connection, and they do a really good job of matching. So I'd say if you feel like you want to do it, just do it. Jump in and trust the process, trust the match facilitators, and know that it's going to work out. It's going to work out great. Just let yourself try it.
Caden, I get what you mean by very wise. That is a really good answer because I feel like there's so many people out there that would become a MIAC volunteer if they knew these things. And that's why we do this podcast, to help inspire others. Inspiration. Caden, if you were trying to convince one of your friends to get a mentor, what kind of things would you tell them?
Honestly, I would just be realistic about it. Say, if your brother or sister is just really giving you, not a lot of attention or not a lot of, just not a lot of attention or mentorship that you really expect, which you should have, I would just tell them, just talk to one of your parents or workers about it, and they'll literally let you know about this program, and then they'll take you to it and then set up a meeting. And once you meet the person that you really think that's right for you and think that you will have a really good connection and relationship with that person. And honestly, once you hang out with them on the first day and you come back, you'll have a complete different mindset about some things that you think you're scared about or nervous or anxiety issues to talk about to one of your brothers or sisters at home, and you want to share with someone else that you feel like you can connect with. This is the program.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I agree. Very wise. And like we mentioned at the start, kind of, once you get into it, kind of just go with the flow, You kind of just take off from there. So,
Pretty much.
This is my final and obviously the best question I ask at the end of every podcast from day one, I think. If you had one superpower you could give to each other, what superpower would it be?
Oh, I want to hear your superpower first.
Pressure.
What one I would give for you? Oh. Superpower. You have such good you have he's not a mind reader, but he can pick up on people, what they're thinking and what they're feeling. You're really perceptive that way. So it's almost like I'd like you to be a mind reader to be able to go one step deeper than that.
Mm.
Yeah, because you already have a really good sense. So be able to just increase that power a little bit more.
I like that. Thank you.
I can tell you guys were matched perfectly based on everything you've told me so far. It's had some sort of connection. And I think they matched you perfectly.
Thank you.
Like
Thanks.
I'm glad.
the mind reader, he mentioned that when he first sees somebody, he picks up based on how they dress or how they talk, and then he'll see whether or not his prediction was right when he talks to them. And like you just said, he reads their mind. But instead of reading their mind, he reads their clothes, which I think is pretty well detailed. So,
Thank you.
what about you?
Alrighty. For me, like we talked about before, you're very wise too. Like whenever there's things we talk about. So honestly, I don't know what power or what word is to describe for wisdom, but I would give you the power of like just knowing, being wise about everything, no matter what situation or what context it is, just being wise about it.
Thanks.
I see that as well. You gave each other the perfect superpowers.
Thank you.
I would give you the superpower to, number one, buy any sort of fashion, no matter how expensive it was. I don't care if it's Gucci, Louis, I don't even know, Prada, whatever else. To buy it and then make it into a masterpiece. A
You know what?
Masterpiece.
Since you mentioned that, I always thought about doing some type of fashion career, whether it's designing or actually doing one of those walking things as well,
runway?
dressing up. Yeah.
I've always wanted to be on one. Oh my goodness. I watched the Victoria's Secret one the other day.
How did that go?
Pretty good.
Sounds like it went well.
I
But
would-
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And again, it's funny how you mentioned that.
You brought it up, so had to include it.
Thank you.
And again, you. The wiseness. I really, really agree with him on this. The wise. You're very, very wise. One of the wisest person I know.
Well, that's a huge
I'll give you
compliment.
that
Thank you
skill.
both. Thank you.
Alan, Caden, thank you so much for being my guest today. It was so fun to get to know you both. And to my listeners, if you are someone you know would be a great mentor for young adults, BGCBigs has a wait list of mentees who are waiting to be matched. Visit bgcbigs.ca/volunteer to apply today. And stay tuned to this channel for the next episode of the Real Change Podcast. Real kids, real mentors, real impact, real change.